Good afternoon. Just want to come to y'all to apologize. Yesterday, I got on here, really feeling that what was coming to me when I was praying, when I asked God again, is this really you? Are you really talking to me telling me this about Kamala Harris and this, that, and the other? And still coming back to me that she was going to win, and I ain't gonna lie, I find it really hard to believe that God would let someone like that goes against His word, win. So I went to looking at all the stuff that He had me read, and He reminded me about again today when I prayed, and I messed around and I got carried away, and I was trying to show y'all where the importance of not just the number seven, but the seven women that God used in a powerful way. You know, how six of them was barren and one of them got pregnant supernaturally, and I got lost and caught up in the sauce. And what kind of jolted me some was listening to Victoria Ramsey, the video that she posted, where she posted No Pressure. And as I was listening to her talking, it made me go and seek God. So this what was happening this morning. Just want to read this right quick, then I'm gonna get off into that, or what I really feel is going on. So anyway, 10/23/2024, 11:44 a.m. I just got through praying. After listening to Victoria Ramsey this morning speak on No Pressure and how a lot of people of God are saying things that God is not saying and stealing messages from one another, I went to pray to ask Father Yahweh, am I saying something that He's not saying? And am I stealing messages from someone else? I started to get reminded about all the years of being told to read certain things, certain scriptures, and certain passages over and over again. Shabokorea Shande, righteous blood of the Lamb. I always brought up that He knew I was okay. You see, I brought up that He knew I always had felt deep within me that He was going to use the women in a powerful way, since He revealed what He revealed to me in Genesis and in other parts of the Bible. So basically right here, I was speaking to the Lord saying, Lord, since you revealed what you revealed to me back then about Genesis and other things, I've always felt in my heart this deep feeling that you was going to use the women in a powerful way to let Satan know you don't know what I put in them. Now, I got many videos where I've said that, so I'm not just saying it now. It was just a strong, overwhelming feeling that I started having from like 2012, 2013, and it stayed with me for years after I was studying and reading the Bible. Okay, so I was talking to the Lord about that. So I asked again, am I saying something that I shouldn't be saying? Because I knew that Victoria Ramsey, was speaking the truth. I then got reminded about Luke chapter 1 and how it led me back to other parts of the Bible that had to do with the same thing, or was, being reflecting the same thing. I then got reminded about the end from the beginning and how He knew it. So I began to think and to feel he knew I would do this and would be led to do this. There's that feeling that came up over me. But I still asked again, is it him? And am I misleading people? I then got reminded about all the daycares that I passed with the children in them. Started to get reminded about the children playing in their little league football games and the parents being there to cheer them on. And all the big college football games and the parents and that would be there to cheer them on and be watching and whatnot, and how people be celebrating seeing their children at the games and children cheerleading and all that stuff. I get reminded about those. And I then got reminded about my auntie Denise, and this would really have me to think. I then got to being reminded about my auntie Denise and how the loss of her child destroyed her because she wanted her child back, and how it was unnatural for a woman to want to kill a part of her. And then I seen 4 doors open. One in the upper East Coast, one by Florida, one down by Mexico and what connect to like California, Arizona, whatever. But it was right there on that end, right there on the West Coast, where somewhere in there where Mexico and the United States connect. One open down there. And I seen one open up top around where Washington State was. Anyway, the 4 doors open. It looked like in the 4 corners of the country. So that better put that way. I then was reminded about the three black doors or gates or portals that I seen open in the Pacific Ocean. The 2 black doors or portals I seen open in the Gulf. And the 2 I seen that open in the Atlantic Ocean. And how I take and I add all these up, I get the number 7 and 4, or 4 and 7. And if you take and you put them together, that's 11. And like I said over the years, 11 means disorder, judgment, mystery, mastery. Okay. So anyway, I was sitting up there talking to God about that, about what I heard Victoria Ramsey saying, and how I knew she was taking and speaking the truth. And as I say all the time, I don't want to be a person that's just taking and misleading people. And I know sometimes you can get carried away with things that's being revealed to you. So I'm asking the Lord, because I don't want to be to where I'm carried away, because sometimes I find things in it when I find the stuff get to speaking to me, it just, something in me just rises up like, okay, wow, thank you, Lord, and then I start getting that feeling, where people need to know this, and this, that, and the other. And then I kind of pull myself back like, okay, maybe God just revealing this to me for now. Just keep on studying. So sometimes it end up being a struggle and a battle with doing that. And then sometimes it just be overwhelming for me to okay, get on here and express this. But when she got to saying that sometimes it's just a time to be quiet and a time just to, to back away and just be like you ain't there or disappear or, make it where they forget you. That made a lot of sense to me, and as all that was going on, I was still fighting and grappling like, okay, Lord, I know the importance on this, but I know you speak to her. So, is it you? Or is this just me being riled up? So as I did that, I went to going back over the stuff that I was doing. and I end up going right here to going back to the beginning to Genesis chapter 12, verse 4, and reading about how God called Abraham. I went to Genesis chapter 17 that speaks about the covenant and the promised child. And then in Genesis chapter 21, verse 2, where Sarah conceived, the barren woman conceived. Then I went to the part where, the second barren woman conceived, because if you go from Genesis chapter 21, that's when Sarah conceived. She was 90 years old. And then you go to Genesis chapter 25, you go to verse 21, Isaac, you know what I mean? When he taking to meet Rebecca, he's 40 years old, and he takes and talk to God about it, because she hasn't conceived, and once she conceive and bear children, he's 60 years old, 20 years later. Okay. Now, if you're paying attention, that's two that's barren that knew the importance of a child. Now, watch this. Now, you go to Genesis, let me go back. Genesis chapter 21, verse 2, barren woman. Genesis chapter 25, verse 21 and 24, a woman that was barren, you know what I mean, a 20-year gap in there. And I think it was like a 25-year gap with Sarah. I'm not for sure. I know it's somewhere around it, because I think she was 65 when God called Abraham, and Abraham was 75. She bare when she was 90. So I think this 25-year gap. But anyway, that's two. Then you take and you go to this with help me out here, Lord. Go to this with okay, we got Rebecca. Let me slow it. Then we go to this with Rachel. And you go to Genesis chapter 30, verse 22 to 24. In this, she conceived. That's the third barren woman. Okay. But if I was you, I would read the whole chapter. Okay, so that's three barren women that knew the importance of children, and they knew the importance of children back then, and they knew that nature was the nature of God to have, because that was the God in them doing what God created them to do. Okay, now I sit up and I spoke about the fourth barren woman being the daughter of Pharaoh. I was in error. I was wrong. I went to getting on here today and saying, okay, Lord, if I don't want to mislead, and it just got feeling for me to take on and get on there and find out did Pharaoh daughters have any children before that but Moses. So I asked, and I'm seeking, I'm seeking over and over and over, getting on Google and getting on the search and whatnot. And I finally come up with Pharaoh's daughter, end up getting married to a man that was from the tribe of Judah. I can't pronounce his name right. So, but anyway, it brings you to First Chronicles chapter 4, verse 17. His name was Merd. I can't remember. Mered. And he the one that married Pharaoh's daughter. They end up having some sons and daughters after that. So I just kept on asking. And this right here in First Chronicles chapter 4, verse 17 and 18. So I said, okay, well, this speaking about how she got married later and had some children after that. But did she have children before that? Am I right about her being barren too? Because it's wrong for us to mislead if we can take a turn. I just got so overwhelmed with that and never seen in the Bible where it speaks of her having children, I assume. So I just kept on asking, and finally end up coming across where she participated in the first Passover with Moses and them. And our oldest son, our firstborn son, was the only one that was saved doing that. because her and her firstborn son was there with Moses and them. So when the death angel passed over, they was there and didn't nothing happen to them. Or did nothing happen to her firstborn son. He was one of the only ones that was saved. So she was not barren. Okay? She was not barren. But I'm still looking at the importance of these 7 women that played this pivotal role. So even though I know this with Moses and Pharaoh's daughter is very important and would point to the middle, because the foe is the middle. I got to take and set this with Moses and his stepmother, Pharaoh's daughter. Got to take and put this to the side right now, so I can point this out and then leave it up to y'all to go to God and ask God, does this apply when I come back and talk to it in a minute? Okay, I'm gonna try to make this not long. Okay, now when we take and we go for that, the one that really started all this with me was Hannah, because when I went to reading this about Hannah in 1 Samuel chapter 2, it started to speak to me, and I ended up getting guided to this again. I had already been told to read 1 Samuel chapter 3 with Jeremiah chapter 7 every day. Just reading this every day when I get up to the end of the year. I'm also being told to read 1 Samuel chapter 5 with Ezekiel chapter 33 verse 7 and Joshua chapter 7 verse 19 and 25 and Malachi chapter 4 verse 6 every time after I pray every day to the end of this year. So I'm already being guided to be in the book of Samuel with 2 chapters, chapter 3 and chapter 5, but I'm reading them at different times. But when I heard Pastor Troy Byers, say that, if a person really just take their time and they just, really want to understand a little bit better what God was saying or doing in Samuel, you know what I mean? Because he started talking about Samuel chapter 3, and I didn't feel that it was no coincidence that he was speaking about this at the same time God was telling me to read this every day to the end of the year. I already had been reading it before I heard him say that for over a month. Maybe a little bit longer than that. I forgot even when I was start being told to read it. That's how long I've been reading it every day. Okay? So when he said that if a person take and just, because it was so much meat in 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1 Kings, 2 King, and 1 Chronicle, 2 Chronicle, that person just took their time and they read that they would get a better understand where we was, what he was saying in 1 Samuel chapter 3, because he's teaching the Syria. Anyway, make a long story short, because I don't want to go on. When he said that, I said, okay, well, I'm already reading, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a half an hour or hour out of a day, and I'm going to read a couple of chapters till I go from 1 Samuel 1 and 2 to 1 Kings 1 and 2 to 2 Chronicles, and just read it, take an hour, half an hour a day, and just do it. But when I got to chapter 2, I got stuck. It started to speak to me. And it started taking me to how happy and joyous Hannah was to conceive. How bad she wanted a child. Okay? And I got to looking at that, and I got to looking at this with Elizabeth, and I got to looking at this with Sarah, got to looking at this with Rebecca, with Rachel, and I got to say, wow. Then I sit up there and I thought, okay, Pharaoh's daughter, she must have been barren too, okay, to take Moses in. I jumped the gun, okay, and I was looking at it being 6 barren women and then one that had a birth married supernaturally, but all of them was joys and walking in the nature that they was created to walk in, because here was a woman that saved a baby. That the mother come out of her. to want to take and do that. So I'm sitting up, okay, I got six barren women, and then I got one, that conceive supernaturally. So I say, this definitely God speaking here. It's me. Because I know 7 is God's number. Okay. So I said, okay, and then that would be the 4th of Pharaoh's daughter. I said, and we in this with this next 4 years. Me again. Okay. And I'm sorry. Okay. Because it's evidence that she did have some children. Her firstborn son. Okay. But we can't overlook the significance of how the nature of a mother came out in her, even though that wasn't her child. And if we look at the nature of all these women and how they wanted children and how they loved children, then we look at the nature of what's going on right now with a lot of women. Not all, but a lot of them where they don't even want children no more. Where their careers are more important than anything. And there's a lot of women I'm not saying that nothing wrong, because a lot of them had to struggle and had to go through a lot of stuff to get where they're at. But what I'm saying is just pay attention to how this what's going on in the world has usurped the natural things, the natural way and the order in which God meant for things to be. Okay? She had a child. She was not barren, but her heart was still open to receive, even though she didn't conceive. Okay? So let's go back to this again. We have 5 barren women. Okay? Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, Hannah, and Elizabeth. They end up conceiving. They knew that was natural and that wanted it. And every one of them children was used in a powerful way. How many children are being destroyed that God meant to use in a powerful way to help us? Like Isaac helped his people. Like Jacob helped his people. Okay. And then Jacob's son, Joseph, from Rachel that was barren. Look at what he did. Okay. How Moses helped his people. Okay. How Hannah's son Samuel helped his people. How John from Elizabeth brought the word, trying to guide his people back to God. And how Mary had a supernatural birth and brought Jesus in to help us and to help save us. The importance of it. The thing that God always meant to be, we now saying no to. Okay, let me go about this way. Let's go to the story of Hannah. Now remember, Hannah. We're gonna go to verse 15 because we don't have time to read all of it, and we're gonna go to verse 13, chapter 1. Now Hannah, she spake in her heart. Only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought she had been drunken. And Eli said unto her, How long wilt thou be drunken? Put away thy wine from thee. And Hannah answered and said, No, my Lord, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but have poured out my soul before the Lord. Count not the handmaiden for the daughter of Belial. For out of my abundance of my complaints and grief have I spoken hereunto. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and the God of Israel grant thee that petition that thou hast asked of him. And she said, Let thy handmaid find grace in thy sight. So the woman went her way and did eat, and her countenance was no more sad. And they rose up the morning early and worshiped before the Lord, and returned and came to the house of Ramah. And her husband knew Hannah, his wife, and the Lord remembered her. Where it came to pass when the time was come about her, Hannah conceived, that she bare a son and called his name Samuel. Now all this is important, right? And see, this when this began to speak to me. Okay. Now here we go. We're gonna go all the way to Samuel's name. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Now, when we go all the way to Samuel's name, and his name is mentioned for the first time in here, it's 25 words. This happened in the 25th verse. Okay? 2025. We're getting ready to come into 2025. We're getting ready to come into the years of Samuel and Moses. I told y'all in videos previously that right now we're in the time to where the story of Joseph is running straight into the story of Moses, and they become one. Now, if you pay attention to the story of Samuel and you just read it, take your time and you read it, you're going to find similarities of where Samuel was trying to guide the people just like Moses was. Samuel was raised up just like in the time that Moses was. If you go to Jeremiah 15 and 1, I know I'm kind of all over the place, but I'm trying to bring something home, and I'm asking you to help me, Lord. I should have shared a prayer before I started this, so forgive me. Jeremiah 15 and 1 says, pay attention to this. Then said the Lord unto me, those Moses and Samuel, mentioned both of them together. The Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind could not be towards these people. Cast them out of my sight and let them go forth. Now, God saying this later, after the times of Moses and Samuel had passed, but he brought them up to let it be known how bad things was. Now here it is, Samuel and Moses is speaking to us in a powerful way right now with Joseph. And if you pay attention to each one of these children and how they come into the world, pay attention to the story of Joseph. Joseph's mother was barren for a long time. Then she ended up conceiving. Okay? Hannah barren for a long time. Then she ended up conceiving. Moses' mother didn't have no problem with having children, but he was born in a time where children wasn't wanted, or the children of Israel wasn't wanted, especially male children. Okay? So we taking and we paying attention to this. It's letting us know that we need to take heed to what's been saying in the story of Samuel, because Samuel was raised up to give warning to Eli and to the people. We know if we read the story, continue to read the story, we know what happened to Eli and his sons. Okay, like I said, if you read to his name, that's the 25th word. Okay? And if you go down further and you just read the whole thing said in 34 words, 34 is broke down to 7. Not only that, but you can see that the 47 is in this, and we in the year of the election for the 47th president right now. No coincidence. But anyway, I want to get to this part. She conceived, right? Now look what Hannah do. Remember yesterday I was told to read Romans chapter 1 10 times? Remember I told you, and I just went to fight, and I understand I went to fighting and struggling, not just because people was in the spirit realm and didn't want me to talk, but God was telling me to slow up too. Okay? Because yesterday I couldn't remember who the 7th was. Remember that? I was fighting to remember. I was fighting to remember the one that made me start thinking this way, the story of Hannah. I was like, wow, this is real power. He went to speaking to me in a whole nother way. When I got to chapter 2 and I heard Hannah saying this after she gave birth, look what Hannah said. Hannah said, and Hannah prayed, and said, my heart rejoices in the Lord. My horn is exalted in the Lord. My mouth is enlarged over my enemies, because I rejoice in thy salvation. There is none holy as the Lord, for there is none besides thee, neither there any rock like our God. Talk no more so exceedingly proud. Let not the arrogancy come out of your mouth. For the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed. The bow of the mighty men are broken, and they that stumble are girded with strength. They that were filled have hired out themselves for bread, and they that were hungry cease, so that the barren has borne 7. Now pay attention, she said 7. Now, I'm going to get a little ahead of myself. Now, we know that she didn't have 7 children, but she had 6. She didn't have 7, but she had 6. And I was talking about 6 being barren in the 7th, okay? No coincidence. I didn't do it on purpose or none of that. But I'm seeing how even she was taking and speaking like even the barren has born 7. She was taking and speaking what she wanted. Now that she had the 1, she wanted 6 more to go along with it, and she was speaking everyone. When you get down, get a little ahead of myself, and when you get down to this verse right here, when verse 20, I'm going to go ahead of myself, verse 20, and Eli blessed her husband and his wife and said, the Lord give thee seed of this woman for the loan which she lent to the Lord, which was Samuel, and they went unto their own home. Now, verse 21, remember I kept on telling you about 20. Now, 21, and the Lord visited Hannah so that she conceived and bare 3 sons and 2 daughters, that's 5. And the child Samuel grew before the Lord. That's 6. But she spoke about 7 only having 6. But look what she said again in this verse. And they were full, have hired, and they that were full have hired out themselves for bread. And they that were hungry ceased, so that the barren has borne 7, and she that has many children is waxed feeble. Okay, she knew, hey, the Lord indeed, he's going to keep on doing it, because she knew her God, and she knew that it was good. She knew that it was good. The Lord killeth and maketh alive, and bringeth down to the grave, and bringeth up. Okay, the Lord maketh poor and maketh rich, and he bringeth low and lifteth up. He raised up the poor out of the dust, and lift up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among the princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he has set the world upon them. He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in the darkness, for the strength shall no more prevail. Verse 10. The adversary of the Lord shall be broken to pieces out of heaven, shall the thunder upon them. The Lord shall judge the ends of the earth, and he shall give strength unto his kings, and exalt the horn of his anointed. And our prayer stopped there. 10 verses. Yesterday I was told to read Romans chapter 1, verse 18 to 32, 10 times. Her prayer, this prayer in the Bible, it has 10 verses, of 1 to 10, and it stops. Now, it's a lot more here, because verse 25, as you go to verse 25, here it is that you have Eli talking to his sons that won't listen. But you have to go to verse 22. No, you have to go to verse 22 to see what Eli is trying to warn his sons. And then you get down to verse 25. There's another revelation in there too, but I don't have time to unpack it, so I'm just going to try to stick with what I'm saying. I shouldn't have even brought it up. But remember, Samuel was raised up to warn him and his sons and what the people was doing. Remember that. Now, let's go to Luke. Let's go to Luke chapter 1. Let's go to Luke chapter 1. And in Luke chapter 1, here it is. You have another barren woman and a woman that's receiving supernaturally saying a prayer too. And we're gonna go straight. We're gonna go straight to the prayer. Oh man, let's take it. Okay, we're gonna go straight to the part where they're taking a prayer. Now pay attention to this, where this starts at. This starts in verse 46. Now watch this. And Mary said, my soul do magnify the Lord, and my spirit has rejoiced in God my Savior. For he has regarded the low estate of his handmaiden. For behold, from henceforth all generations shall call me blessed. For he that is mighty has done to me great things, and holy is his name, and his mercy is on them that fear him from generation to generation. He has showed strength with his arm. He has scattered the proud in the imagination of their hearts. He has put down the mighty from their seats and exalted them of low degree. He has filled the hungry with good things, and the rich he has sent empty away. He has opened his servant Israel. Okay, I know I'm pronouncing that word wrong. He has HOLPEN, his servants Israel, in remembrance of his mercy. Last verse. He has spec to our fathers, to Abraham, and to his seed forever. Now watch this. The prayer stopped. I'm going to read verse 56 to show you that the prayer stopped. And Mary abide with her about 3 months. Change. The prayer stopped. From 46 to 55, the prayers have been said. 10 verses. Let's count. Make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 verses. Okay? There's no coincidence. Here it is that you had, because Mary and Elizabeth together. Okay? And Mary says this after Elizabeth says what she says to her. And to find out what Elizabeth is saying to her, you got to go to verse 41 and read down. And it came to pass that when Elizabeth heard the solution of Mary, the baby leaped in her womb, and Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Ghost. And she spake with a loud voice and said, Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb. Thy womb is blessed. You curse it. You do all kinds of stuff when you get to tampering with it in the wrong way. Okay? Okay? Let's go. And whence is this to me, that the mother of my Lord should come to me? For lo, as soon as the voice of thy solution sounded in my ear, the baby leaped in my womb for joy. And blessed is she that believed, for there shall be a performance of those things which were told her the Lord. Stop. And then Mary comes in and say what she says. After the barren woman that was barren, baby leaped in the womb because of what she was saying. Okay? So the bottom line of what I was really trying to get to here, and if the Lord is with me anyway in this message, it was really him reminding me of all these daycare centers that I passed, and the football games with the children playing, and all this other stuff that got to do with the children, especially bringing up that about my auntie Denise. If all that is the Lord, then we really need to consider what the Lord said in the beginning. In the beginning, he brought man and woman together. He created him, but them was in the two. It was two. He told those two to go forth, be fruitful and multiply, replenish. He didn't say go forth and do nothing. He said to go forth. Let me read it, because I got a bad habit of quoting things in the wrong way. And if we don't listen, this is going to destroy this country. Okay? Verse 26 to 27. And God said, let us make man in our image and our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth. Verse 27. So God created man in his image. In the image of God created he, him, male and female created he them. Verse 28. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth. Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth. Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth. And subdue it, and have dominion over it. Fish of the sea, and the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. Now, this is said in 46 words. What presidency is we in right now? We in the 46. So it's no coincidence that at this time that I keep on speaking this over and over to administration that want to go against what God is saying. And God said what he said. How can you say you believe in this Bible and you stand on what's in this word, but you're going against, hey, cuz, how? That's a warning. That's said in 46 words. I'll read it one more time. And God blessed them. He blessed them. And then he said, God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over it, the fish of the sea, the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that creepers up on earth. 46 words. And then it said in the 28th verse, 28 breaks down to 10. Yah, that hot hand. Okay? He's saying in this verse. I mean, I go on and on with this, but I don't want y'all to miss what's really being said here. We already have taking and giving our dominion and our power, a lot of us, to the devil in ways that I can't begin to explain because I have trouble with explaining things. But the power that he has, that he's using right now, he's using it because we're giving it to him. Now, I don't believe that a woman that's pregnant and they know that the complications of the pregnancy is definitely going to kill her, that there's no room in there for God's mercy. I don't believe that. So it's some things that I believe that God will be merciful in. Okay. But knowingly to do it just to do it, no. And for that to come up to me about my auntie Denise, I can't see Satan bringing that to me. Because God knows the suffering I've seen her go through. But Lord, so she never got over that. But in all that, she still, whenever she was a straight up junkie. But when she would hit licks and have money and she would see a woman with the babies and stuff, she would go and give them money, buying food, buying shoes. She was taking do all that, even in her strung out addiction. I'm telling you the truth. It's something wrong when we want to take and kill that God gave us with love. And that includes us men too. And like I said, I'm sorry, I repent, because a couple of women that I know that was pregnant by me, then I denied one other baby, knowing it was mine. And the other one I just didn't know, but, I didn't step up and didn't be who I was supposed to be, That was a blessing that God was trying to give me, even though I was living wickedly. Because that's how good he is. Y'all want to continue to feed these demons. Y'all want to continue to see hell just bust loose here in this country. Y'all go ahead and prove this. A lot of people don't disagree with what I said. We have a chance to take and do what's right. A lot of people feel there's the government trying to take control. And I can understand people looking at it like this. But just for 1 minute, stop and think about God giving us an opportunity to take and do what he said by that being overturned. Okay? Look at it as God's giving us an opportunity for us to say, yeah, you're right, Lord. You was the one that said be fruitful, multiply, and replenish. You know what I mean? Help us not live in sin so we're not taking and getting impregnated to where we want to get rid of these children, because we know that that's wrong. Help us make the right decisions. Okay? I'm telling y'all. I ain't telling y'all what somebody told me. I'm telling you what he didn't show me in the spirit. These demons drink that blood, that innocent blood. They thrive off of it. Ain't no coincidence why young children are shooting one another, wanting to take and do one. Our children are caught up in the curses that we open the doors up to, that I have opened up the door to. And I'm sorry. Y'all are opening up doors to things that we ain't ready for. Y'all feeding these demons. That matrix ain't meant to be tampered with in that way. That's the knowledge of evil. And if you pay attention, I came from out of Romans. I don't know if the book of Romans was wrote with Paul being in Rome or not, but I have come to understand that back in the ancient days, in the Roman day, they had the stuff that they would drink. The wealthy women that didn't want to have kids no more, were taking a drink to keep them from having children, or other women for keep them from having children. Same thing that was going on back then in Rome. Look what happened to Rome. One point in time, couldn't nobody do nothing with Rome. Nothing. if you pay attention to the spirits that was at the helm of the ship back then, they last emperor Caesar, whoever it was, he was guarding all our doors. When he walked, his head probably walked with a lean in his hand bent like that. Mad, crazy. He was drinking this stuff that would cause women to have abortion. Sex orgy parties, all that. Everything went just like right now. You can find that in ancient Babylon. Just do your research on history. Solomon says ain't nothing new under the sun. Ecclesiastes chapter 1. Let me not misquote it. Got a bad habit of doing that. Yeah, because this is going to be my last video for a while. I hear the sister. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9. The thing that has been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there's no new thing under the sun. Verse 10. And there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new. It has already been done of old times, which was before us. So, that right there is not only saying that ain't nothing new under the sun, it's telling us to pay attention, okay, to the things that was already done before and to learn from it. I'm telling y'all, if we continue to go down this road, we're playing with that matrix. That matrix is, I'm talking, when I say it's connected in the heavenly realms, it's connected, baby. Pay attention to Genesis chapter 30 and how when Jacob was told to do that with the rod, so his was bear more cattle, even the cattle taking the bear. And that's how he became rich. Do you know we rich through our children? I wish I could remember where that was in Psalms where it talk about the children are like a quiver shot. Oh my God, where's that at, Lord? I should never forget many times as I read that. There's no way in the world I should forget that verse. It's Psalms 127. Oh, there's no way I should. And Lord, I'm sorry. Truly am. Children are like a quiver. Come on, Lord. Psalm 120. And happy is the man that has quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemy at the gates. Okay, go up one verse. Verse 4. As arrows are in the hand, I'm going to read the whole thing. Psalms 127. Psalms 127, y'all. Now, we're going to get over it. Except the Lord build the house, the Lord, the labor is in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. It is in vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrow, for so he giveth his beloved sleep. Lo, children are a heritage of the Lord. Children are a heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. I ain't gonna even read this about the quiz. I'm gonna stop. You read the rest. No, I've got to do it. Oh, I need to do one part over street. Lo, children are a heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. Stop playing with that matrix. Stop playing with it. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that has the quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemy at the gate. If you raise them right, guide them right, it's just like an arrow. They're going to be just like an arrow to the man and the woman. They're precious gifts. I love y'all, and I'm sorry for assuming that Pharaoh's daughter was barren. She wasn't. She had a son, firstborn son that was saved. Because she was there was Moses and them death angel passed off. I got to get off of here. Love y'all. Do the right thing, y'all.